folks. I'm joined by the legendary, the one, the only UGOG War Destroyer, the most experienced gamer in the FGC, and we're going to be taking some time to show you everything you need to know to play Iron Man in just a minute here. Was that an acceptable shout out, Mr. OG? Ooh, I think Mr. OG is setting something up. Mr. OG is, first of all, he's my best guest ever. He sounds like he's the most prepared. And second of all, he's juggling a bunch of Windows and tech stuff.
Yeah, I'm just want. I don't know. I don't normally play PC, so I'm trying to have a way for me to see the document while I play on PC. Because every time I hit the document, it just wants to shrink down. Marvel.
Yeah, if you run MVCI as not full screen, it would probably make it a lot more cooperative.
Okay. Is that setting in? Yeah,
you might have to back out. Try just hitting Alt Enter and see what happens.
I think I got it.
Okay.
I think I have it. Okay, cool. Okay, so I can't see chat though.
I can see chat, and I will read you interesting questions if they happen.
Perfect.
My goal is to be the opposite of Jaco. This is most of why I'm doing this is for a VOD. If people show up, that's great. If they don't, whatever.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Man, I wish I can get both though.
I mean,
right. Let me get in the lobby. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
Are you in a training?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, cool.
I anticipated that one.
I was warming up earlier today because PC, I normally don't play PC. I prefer PC speed over PS4, but PS4, you do get used to it, right? You do get used to it, so.
Dude, everything is better than Xbox. That's all I'm going to say. I made the mistake. When you messaged me on Twitter, I had made the mistake of trying to play on Xbox, and Xbox is the worst experience known to mankind.
Yeah. I haven't had the distinct privilege, but I've heard great things.
I love Gamora's Wave Dash, dude.
Yeah.
Like.
Good, yeah. Yeah, just built in. All right.
Okay.
I'm actually running the War Machine mod, so it looks pretty cool on my end. Oh, even the Iron Man's modded on my end. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so so just a little bit about me. I've been playing Marvel vs. Capcom since it came out, right? I go back all the way to the old Marvel superheroes, Children of the Atom. Played OG Street Fighter 2 and all that. Grew up as a fighting game fan. This became my favorite series of all time, though, the Versus series, right? Starting from X vs. Street Fighter and all that stuff. So I've been using Iron Man as like my main, War Machine as my main since then. So I'm glad in this game that he's viable and you can get dubs with him, because in Marvel 3 he kind of sucks. So we'll go from there.
He's pretty okay. I mean, Corky J did some stuff with him in MVC3 and a couple of other people. Like he's definitely more of a gimmick specialized character, right? As opposed to like someone you can kind of run. You got to build your team around him, and he's still, I would even say, a liability at that point, right? But I definitely am impressed by the people who have made him work, though, because there has been some people. But your thesis is that you think he's better in this game, yeah?
Yes, I think he's way more consistent in this game, way more easier to learn. But I think that's a testament to this game in general, that a lot of the characters are just balanced out. There's not, even in the tiers, there's not quite a disparity as Marvel 3, right? The low tier is like really low.
Yeah.
Marvel 3. In this one, like, it's still noticeable, but Iron Man can get a win. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I think that the tier list in this game is really interesting. Let's not go too far into that. I've been trying to avoid making flavorful comments on these so far. Let's talk about Iron Man. What's unique about Iron Man in this game compared to other characters?
Okay. So what I like in this character, well, just kind of a general overview of like what Iron Man brings to the table as a character. He's a hybrid character, right? So there's point and assist, or like, you know, a character that's going to make you block, and then you want another character that's going to make you do a mix-up, right? And Iron Man, he's kind of a hybrid. He's a mix of them both. Like, he has tools to mix you in when he's close, but he also has a good tool set to, like, in the neutral, kind of keep you blocking.
Right.
You know, kind of keep his turn and dominate the neutral, right? So he doesn't have like quite like Sigma's move, right, as far as the Rekka, but you know, this move commands a lot of respect, though, right, as far as controlling the neutral space, right? And normally characters who have like some kind of mix up close aren't given the leverage, like the favor of big moves like this, right? So he's kind of like he's not majorly broken in either one. He's kind of like I feel like he's really good at getting in, and then he's sort of good at mixing up, right?
Right.
I do feel like this of the hybrid role, the keep out role or the get in role is kind of where he's the bigger of the two, right? The bigger of the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
That role though, it's dependent on the assist being available, right? He can get you there, but what happens there is kind of like a lot of it's relied on like his partner, right?
Right.
So he is one of the characters whose utility like greatly diminishes when he loses his partner, because a lot of his things like a lot of his setups, like even this as a starter, like the you want to see it real quick. Even this as a starter, like right away, that spends his wall bounce, his ground bounce, right?
Right.
So if he can have someone cover that, right? So he can get the hit, he can get the opening, but if he can have somebody cover it, he gets way more utility.
Right.
Plus that move is that I feel like that's the core of his move set, and it's really unsafe if he can't get out of it, right? So that's another reason why the partner is kind of like critical, right?
So let me see if I can read this back to you. Iron Man is a relatively mobile character with a lot of the sort of up-down flight mix-up, tri-dash mix-ups that a lot of other characters have. But what separates him from the other characters with fly or tri-dash mix-ups is that he's got this sort of really big move that he can throw out.
Yeah.
That while you have a partner, you can tag behind it and create pressure, and it enables your partner to essentially get in almost for free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what's unique about his is like the first of all the space it covers, right? Because it's a triple option in it. And then after that too is that like even airspace, right, is dominated, right? Like he can just kind of walk you to the floor. You know what I mean? So either whether you're getting hit by it or blocking it, at the very least, he's gonna contact you and he's gonna escort you to the ground. You know what I mean? So,
sure.
which is kind of like I feel like his major role on the team is that controlling that space and just getting the partner in, right?
So basically, what you're saying is that you should pick Iron Man if you want to play somebody else who wants to go in, but you also want to have a character with a lot of mobility while providing your sort of go in.
Yeah. So yeah, he's real buttony. Like, yeah, so he's definitely good at escorting to the corner or just getting somebody to getting your partner into you, right? So yeah, he's definitely the kind of character you want to use if you want to like kind of let your other character shine.
Yeah.
But Iron Man does like he's not like solely that, right? He's like you said. I do agree with that. He has a whole tool set of his own kind of beyond that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Another thing about him is that just overall things about him. His routes are technical, right? And one reason is that because one of the core moves he has spends a lot of his resources, right?
Right.
So you've got to get creative at that point, right? So it almost forces you to know some technicality if you want to get like decent combos, lengths, right? That and damage.
Well, you can do. Let me, because this is bothering me. You can just do that one, right?
Yeah.
And then dash.
And then he has one of those soft knockdowns, right? Some people don't know that. I didn't know that for a long time yet. So he like Dante, he has like a special knockdown that will preserve the other knockdown. Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I think that certainly the route that I'm trying to do is too technical for me right now. But you can just combo with that from full screen, right? You just wave dash and then do whatever.
Yeah, there are particular ranges where there's another reason why it's partner, right? There are some ranges where it's like it starts to get really tricky as far as confirming something solid from it, right?
Right.
So it's another reason why it's partners, like having a partner is critical because I mean that goes from a tricky confirm to like a free confirm. Having a partner.
That makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, and then like the raw from it. Another overall thing about Iron Man, he's high damage, right? But it's at a caveat. The caveat is that high damage if he can get you to the corner, right? So the cannon, like it's notoriously, it's greatly nerfed as far as damage from that far in the, like you could just already see it as opposed to, in the corners, right?
Right, and then beams have beams have a wonderful property in this game where the game always thinks it did that much damage in terms of your combo scaling. So that if you start a combo with that, like in the corner, that did 4,000 damage. If you start a combo with that at full screen, it'll do like 1.7, but the game will think that you did 4,000 in terms of scaling. So you'll have to adjust your combo. 1.8, wow. So it down, So you have to adjust your combos down. Anyway, that's a stupid trivia.
So any the routes you want to pick with Iron Man, Like you want to make sure that they're all kind of built in to get you to the corner as best as possible, right?
Right.
So if you have your opponent in the corner, there's going to be very differing routes because most of everything you want to do. Obviously, there's going to be scenarios where if you're like right, you get them here,
Yeah.
right? Can you fully get them to the other side with already have spent your surge, right? Like or your bounce,
Surely
like
he has side switches.
yeah, of course, yeah. But I mean,
Okay.
there's going to be times where that you got to make the call. It's out of range, right? Like the nature of the opening, whatever it is, right?
Sure.
So
How does
high damage, but and again, another reason why I consider them somewhat technical is that you have to learn these routes,
Right.
if you're going to like maximize his damage.
Sure. So let me read that back to you. You think that it's super important with Iron Man to be willing to learn relatively specific combos to convert off of certain things, and also you think it's very important to ensure that your overall game plan, whenever you get a hit, brings them to the corner so that you don't waste damage on beam super.
Correct. I mean, everyone wants the corner positioning as it is, right? But
Right.
Iron Man is like critical to his damage.
Right. Because so is it mostly because of that, or are there other things? Is it mostly because of the beam super, or are there other things?
The
Okay,
beam super
okay.
does, because even if you're near the character, like you can say, oh, I did it up close, but you could already see the damage
Yeah,
nerfing.
that does
And
a
that
little
was
less.
blank where I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
even from like moderately far now, it's going to just,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Cool.
And Iron Man's like I said, he's not top tier. One of the things he does have is damage, though. So if he's not going to be able to compete with the top tier moveset, he has to make up for it in his damage.
Sure. So let's talk about other parts of his playstyle. In neutral, when you've got Iron Man on the screen, do you like to just? Well, let me open it up. What do you like to do?
So he has two like his main neutral options, right? So this is more of like an annoyance poke.
Sure.
I do think the smart bomb's in like I don't say overrated move because people know it sucks, but there are some people there who like swear it's like has utility, and I'm sure it does have utility. And there's a couple of setups, and I'll show some with it.
Yeah.
But I do feel like that it's the stun that it does is too minor. If there's a tag there, it gets eaten, but it gets, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the biggest use I have for it is either tag bait, or if they're in the corner already. Let me get you over there.
Oh, sorry.
Doing some kind of setup where like they're here, right? So that's the way there's like you can't just tag out of it, right? It's gonna
Right.
eat the bomb, right? So those are the two uses, like the biggest uses I found for the bomb. I know there's like side switch resets, but most of that I find is like more flashy than useful.
Sure.
Because the move gives no hit stun.
Sure.
It's too little to be practical unless you know exactly where they're gonna get hit, and when they tag, it freezes and lets you know that you can go punish them. You know what I mean?
Let me back up a little bit. You're getting super in depth, and that's great. And I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time talking about bomb in 20 seconds. But right now, what's like your general game plan with the character?
Oh,
Do
yeah,
you
right,
like
you're giving me a track. Okay, so a game plan. So it's very special move based, right? So
Right.
Unibeam is good, is a good like just general game plan as far as like, can you reset it? I hit accident.
Yeah.
It's a good general game plan as far as like covering the assist, right? So I'm about to attack you. If I think you're gonna go in the air, I can throw a Unibeam in the air and then bring in my next character to follow up. Same thing with the ground, right? It's just gives me like a free poke into like zip pressure, right? So even if you're calling your assist, assuming you don't have a beam of your own, like bolts or something like that, which there's only a few like practical beams like this.
Yeah.
And the good thing about the beams, it kind of win. It's not good keep away as far as like zoning. Like if you want to come in around the beam, it's not going to really keep you out, right?
Right.
But what it is good is at leveling the playing field against zoning.
That makes sense. So if I'm like somebody like Gamora, that would be helpful.
Yeah. Well, hers a little tricky, but it will still provide some level of like being able to go toe to toe with like.
Right. Yeah, that was actually a really good demonstration.
Like assist behind it.
Yeah.
So, like, this is what the thing about Mega Man, right? Like characters or Morgan that tend to like fill up the screen. Like it's really good at just kind of neutralizing that. You know what I mean? It's not zoning per se. It's like an anti-zone tech. Like it can keep up with zoning well.
So let me ask you a question as an Ultron player. How is the frame data on block or on hit? Because Ultron's is unsafe on hit. It is atrocious.
For what move? The Unibeam?
Beam, yeah. Ultron
Okay, so the jab Unibeam,
it's I think it's like neutral, like well, I mean, hold on, let me block. I'm sure I could block. But even on hit, I feel like I don't have a first turn there, because the jab one's almost just like, it's almost strictly a poke.
Yeah.
You can combo into it, but even once you combo into it, only a cannon will go after that, right?
Cool.
But the fierce one, on the other hand, like causes a considerable amount of stun. If you want to just get hit for a sec,
Sure.
Causes a considerable amount of. Just go and stand there.
Oh.
Like even from this distance, it's a considerable amount of stun, or I can follow up with another special.
That's a lot of hit stun.
Yeah, and
so that means you could like dash jab, right?
What?
You could like dash jab, right? I guess not from that far.
Yeah, no. It's kind of like.
Oh, that. Yeah,
I mean,
that combo.
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, it's very rare that you're gonna do. I mean, one of the good things Unibeam's on their wake up, you can just like back up, do Unibeam,
right?
And like that's like, because no matter what you do, even if you're doing like a Shoryu at this point, like it's probably gonna get eaten and full punished, right?
Cool.
So it gives them the ability to not only do a meaty, but a meaty from a distance.
Right. No, I mean, I'm just excited because you knew like that and to fly stuff, which I don't have right now because I'm terrible. No. Okay. Cool. So
and then hold on. I would say the crux of his game plan is using the repulsor to get in, or like Unibeam to help his partner get in.
Okay. So you use special moves to threaten space, and then once on the off chance that they ever start respecting you, which is impossible in this game, then you do flight stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Just like a couple of things, like
Sure.
Well, let me see. Let me go down the list. I don't want to skip forward.
No, it's fine. You were allowed to skip forward. I mean, so the next things that I would want to talk about are what he wants from his team and what he provides for his team. We've already talked about Unibeam providing a. I mean, this is really long and it's also really slow. So one of the things that you can do with a lot of characters in this game, with Iron Man 2, I guess, is, if you can do special moves, which I can't. If you're doing special moves, then you can do like heavy Unibeam and tag, and the tag will cover the heavy Unibeam, and then the heavy Unibeam will cover the garbage, right?
Yeah. It definitely like is a good tool. Like as long as they're out of the range of the tag, right?
Yeah.
So like the ideal, like if you do it right here, you tag me and you tag, I might get blown up.
Right.
But the ideal range is that it's out of the tag, so that way, no matter what your point character, or if you choose to tag, it's all going to get hit, right?
Right.
And in Venom, it's almost really good with Venom, because like the jab has like an absurd range anyway. Yeah. So that's like I get a lot of birthdays doing that, just kind of owning that space there.
Cool. So what does he want from his partner? He just wants, I guess, I'm going to guess that he wants somebody that can do a little bit of mix after repulsor, or somebody that can do pressure after repulsor.
Correct. So he's like a hybrid character, like I said earlier. So I kind of use him with another hybrid character, right? So it's not. I mean, it's an approach to the game.
No, your team is sick. Like don't ever let anybody tell you that your team is not sick, because your team is two characters that make the other person block for like 30 seconds, and they can tag, and then the other character makes the other person block for 30 seconds, and you can just. If I were you, I would just time people out.
Like I mean, what it is. I mean, Venom has it too, but Iron Man has it to a point too, right? Where they have this kind of bluff factor, where like, hey, if you guess wrong, you're gonna get hit. And if you just decide to play defense, then I get to kind of do it again. You know what I mean? So it's like I keep the dice rolling, right?
Yeah,
and Tag and Venom literally has the exact same thing, right?
Right.
Like it was my turn right there, right?
Yeah.
And then
that's fun.
So what I do is, rather than try to go for the traditional like a point and assist, they're both just, I just use them in tandem, right? So that's how I find Iron Man used ideally, is like where he can do his thing, tag his partner. Like I see even someone like Sigma, right, where he could just do his thing, let the pain out, bring in Iron Man again, right, where it just kind of keep the dice rolling, right? I mean, I do find those would be his best partners. I mean, obviously, I think he could do really good success with like a mix-up partner as well, right? Because I do think he doesn't necessarily need his partner to get him in,
right?
Like I said, remember, of the two skills he has as a hybrid, his zoning or his pressure, his getting in is the bigger of the two skills, right?
Cool.
So if you partner him with someone that can just like get nasty once they're in with a good mix-up,
so like Chun, Ultron,
he will be just as good too.
Yeah.
Now putting Iron Man as your pressure character, I mean, there's going to be better choices.
Legitimately, I think that he's really fast. You have to go kind of high to try dash, like higher than other characters, but which I can't do at all. Which probably says something. But like he's got fly, he's got I can't play this game right now. He's got that stuff, you know. So I think that his mix-up is like I don't think it's quite as good as Thor, but I think his flight mix-up should be better than Dormammu in theory.
Yeah, he definitely has mix. Up close with the flight. And the flight I feel like the flight is his better mix option rather than the tri-dash.
Right.
And for the reason you said earlier is that he has to go he has to go a specific height, right? You can't just do it, right? You can't just do it or it's too fast, right? And because of that, one is that it's more subjective to failure because how high is too high, right? It's not just a reacting, you have to actually have a distinct timing. And then two is that you could see it coming more obviously because there's more time to react to it. Right? There's more time to react to it. He does have jab options that are faster. If you want to stand still, I can show you some of them. And those ones you can. Oh, let me get on this. Those ones you can do from like a faster, a slightly lower height, but the confirm's a little more strict. The confirm is you have to go into jab right away from the ground now, as opposed to a light kick. And I'm already trying to do it, and it's like. One thing for me, this is just me specifically, has nothing to do with Iron Man. I don't try to do things that I think are going to be maybes in the fight.
That makes sense.
So there's going to be sequences and stuff I'm going to show you that I'm like the jab thing. I'll almost never do that in a fight because I feel like it's too hard to time consistently to be practical. But there are people out there that's not a problem at all, right? So if you're that dude, go for it. Hey, let me show you something funny with the jab. This is like a weird nuance that works sometimes on people because the jab can cross up on the
right.
So it's not even a combo, it's just like a weird fake.
That's cool. So basically he works with most kinds of characters, but you think that the character should either have mix or be a hybrid, so that they can take the maximum advantage out of him getting them in. Okay. Yeah. So for the next question, I want to know what stones he works with differently than other characters. I don't necessarily need to know that soul is good and that time is bad, but I want to know what Iron Man has that makes different stones change, if that makes sense.
Got it. I'll go over the top 3 stones, right? I'm sure Reality Surge could serve him well, like it serves other characters, but he has a ranged tool set that it probably would benefit other characters more than him, right? So I don't think I would. Just, you know what I mean? Everyone gains from the ball, but some people need it more than others, right?
Yeah.
So I use him for power. I can't say with confidence like, oh, that's his best stone, right? I use it more for the team, and Venom gets a big utility out of it. So Iron Man's just kind of there for the ride as far as using power. But with that said, I do think that giving him that air dominance is kind of a big deal, especially if you're kind of playing pressure as your tactic, right?
Right.
Where the moment it gets froggy, like, you know, he has and confirming from the jab, making it like everything kind of free, right? But with that said, you do not need power surge to do Iron Man confirms from the air,
right?
Even from jab. So if you want to just jump around a little bit, everything can go into some kind of repulsor route,
and then it's just super easy.
Yeah.
Let me see something first.
Go ahead.
I'm assuming that he has this, but I want to.
Yep. Oh, he iced him up.
Yeah.
Put him in a mix-up?
No, that's 100%. I just assumed that he had it, but I wasn't 100% sure. That is, Okay, cool.
It's pretty dope stand. All right, so power. Obviously, remember I said one of his biggest things is that he brings high damage to the table, right?
Right.
So, and I mean, maximizing that, right, is like.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one super and a combo.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's absurd damage, right?
Yeah.
So I do think power as a storm cash out with someone who already does high damage is like one of the biggest benefits of Power Stone, right? More than the surge.
Right. No, because
go ahead.
The reason that I like playing power is because the power storm isn't worth anything, so you can use it for stuff like that. You can use it to lock out. You can say, hey, I'm just going to do more damage and try to kill a character with it. It's not like soul or space where you're trying to save it for a specific point in the match.
exactly. Like one of the things you didn't mention too is that like you just want to get out, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like this scenario. I'm just doing this.
Yeah.
And now Iron Man's out of the screen, right?
I got back that.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
like the free turn, right? It's like,
Yeah.
It's a little bit more expendable. Yeah, it's a little bit more expendable. So space, there's a good case for using Iron Man with space.
Sure.
He does have mix inside the box,
Uh-huh.
and he can make them. And if he's catching them trying to be, oh, I can change it. That's right.
I can change it, but yeah.
Yeah, he has mix inside the box, right? Because, like I said,
Yeah.
his mix works if he's close, right? So if he's in the box, he's gonna get close, right? He's gonna have options. He's gonna have things to do. He's gonna have options to like kind of mess you up there. So box isn't the worst choice for him, right?
Yeah.
As well.
Can you do the
and also if they're getting froggy in the box, like they're trying to fight back, you know, that'll just check them. You know what I mean? That'll just check them.
Yep. Especially when you have a partner.
Yeah. So it's not like, oh, use power because the box is whack. No, he has box. Like he has box. If you have mix, you have box, right? So he can definitely do some things with the box. So if his partner can use box good, I'd use box with him. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
That makes sense.
And then but I do think his probably like on paper, the best stone for him, if you don't factor in his partner, is probably soul.
Yeah.
And that's just because how important he is to be in a team as opposed to being solo.
That makes sense.
Right.
So basically, because all of his specials work really well with your partner, losing your partner is a really big deal. But if you have soul, it's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah. And granted, losing your partner is a big deal no matter what, right? But for Iron Man and certain other characters, it sticks out even more so, right? A lot of the times when I'm taking damage, if it's Iron Man, you just let it rock. You know what I mean? Because as far, you know what I mean? Like you kind of take that hit because you know that it's better if I know, at least on my team build, and probably most team builds because Iron Man's not that good solo, that Iron Man's got to go, right? Sometimes Iron Man just got to go, like he's done, you know what I mean? Like
basically you're saying that your Iron Man benefits from having a partner that can make solo comebacks, and that Soul massively reduces his need to make solo comebacks, so it's really good. But also that as an Iron Man player, you frequently are like, I'm going to lose one character, I better make sure it's Iron Man so that I can make the solo Venom come back instead.
Correct. And I mean, a different team could have a different priority as far as the build, right? But my team, Venom, is definitely way more viable as a solo character.
Sure.
Iron Man, a lot of Iron Man's moves are liabilities if he has no tag. Yeah. So he can fight without those moves, but he's not the same character now. You know what I mean? He's just like a baby Ultron at that point.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things that I found more and more as I play fighting games is that a player who is playing the fighting game to the fullest with a character with bad tools is much scarier than a player who doesn't know how to use a character with good tools, if that makes sense. I think that...
I mean, some of it is just natural learning curve, right? Like if you're forced to learn something, you will, right? So if you're forced to learn good neutral because your fierce doesn't take half the screen,
but
right?
like Iron Man has a couple of okay buttons. This button is, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to say when we're talking just about him in general. Like he's a repulsor, a unibeam, and a down roundhouse. Like that's I cannot because for not having mentioned it to this point, I cannot overstate how good of a normal that is. Like it's clearly his best normal. Even if you factor in like how he can just get it from roundhouse, kind of spam it.
Yeah,
it goes into flight. Like that's something I don't do habitually. But like really good players who who use Iron Man before they dropped playing the game, like Chris G and Iron Missile come to mind, would habitually go into flight from any down roundhouse, right? So any down roundhouse, if it's an OS and a mix-up, right? So if you get hit by it, then you have time to go back down and convert, right? But if you don't, then you're blocking and you're still in. Hold on.
Yeah.
And you're still in a mix-up, right? So
yeah, we'll talk about that.
Let's say you block it, Watch. Let's say you block it, like you're still in pressure, right? You're still in pressure, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I do that again. Oh shit!
You're not gonna be able to. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some moves
I'm positive.
Jab, jab, right?
Let's
try it again.
Oh, I got.
Hold on. I'll try it again.
Ooh, no. I'm aware that there's counterplay.
You got
it's
options.
Just
you got options.
You gotta make sure that you also have a scissors and a paper, and if you're doing that, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. So he definitely like his down roundhouse is
even more of a better button because of the flight attached to it, right?
Right.
The fact that you can go flight into either continue, and it's an OS, right? So it's comboable even if you get hit, there's time to go back and confirm it, right? So it's a built-in combo and mix-up.
I would be a little bit worried about people jabbing that on reaction offline. I don't know how worried, but that's
It's definitely a viable defensive, option for him at that point.
Yeah. Anyway, so I want to talk very briefly about spending meter. His level 3 is atrocious, and his level 1 is atrocious outside of combos in the corner. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just kind of what is meter? Yeah. So he has 2 supers, but he essentially has like 1, right? As far as what it's there's slight difference in the supers, but
yeah.
So you should, how the general rule is don't end your combo with a super if you're not going to kill the character. That's kind of like the book rule of this game is meter, right?
Yeah.
If you're not in the corner, that rule triple applies. There's no point in the marginal damage and no positioning that you're going to get from that super, right?
Yeah.
But in the corner, I do this, technically this is against, people go against the rules with this one.
Yeah.
But this is definitely something I do because of my play style. Understand, I played literally pressure. I'm going to get first hit, force you to block, all this kind of stuff, right? So if I do a combo, let's do a more generic opening. Just regular power surge opening, right? This is Venom. But I'm talking more about whether I should spend this meter or not.
Uh-huh.
This 1 meter. So I put 1 meter. So that is absurd.
It is.
Everybody gets more damage for spending a meter, but Iron Man in the corner gets a significant damage boost for spending that meter, right?
Yeah.
Almost at the point where even though the character's not dead, he might somewhat be incapacitated. He's not gonna, if he knows what's up, he's not gonna tag that character in. So even though he's not dead, you're as good as a 2-on-1 for a good 5 to 10 seconds now.
Right. So let me read that back to you, and then let me make a point. But first, you're saying that because the super does so much damage in the corner, there's often times where you deliberately lose the meter game, essentially, in order to put their character in a situation where if they get hit, you're just going to super again and kill them. And they need to tag out, which gives you a lot of control over the match.
Yup. And for my team specifically, not only are you in all of that scenario you just described, but you're with a trap and this, right? It's all bad. It's all bad, right?
Let me make a point though, just because I feel like making this point. That super built me 60% of a bar.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's don't think of that as a 1 meter swing where you're spending a bar. You're giving the other person about 60% of a bar and spending a bar. So it's almost a 2 meter swing. You're almost giving them a free counterattack for that.
You're definitely going against the book, right? You're definitely going against the conventional strategy, right? But
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying make sure you understand the trade-off,
Yeah. Yes. Of course. And also anybody who's planning on using Iron Man, understand that don't who you're fighting, right? If you're fighting Knives or somebody who's notoriously defensive and knows how to get his character out with the utmost of finesse, then maybe I won't spend that meter, right? If he's using a Soulstorm, definitely don't do that, right? Because it's not even going to gain you anything if you get the snipe anyway. You're still going to be super deficit, right?
Yeah.
But let's say you're fighting Raisins or you're fighting, you know what I mean? There's certain times where or if the character's a 9K, even more so that the character's dire in health, right?
Also, one other stupid Rambo's point. Just be aware that if the character that is not your point character does red health. So if you do that super in that exact combo, you're only doing red health with it. Yeah.
I mean, and it's definitely like a gamble.
Yeah.
It's definitely a gamble, right? It's not like this is a solid tactic. It's a gamble, but I do feel that Iron Man has one of the few cases where it's a worthy gamble to take.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No.
In some scenarios.
No,
right?
I agree with you. Especially if you've got a read on the player, you want to say, hey, this character's at 30%, they can't hit ever, and you're bad at tagging out safely. So you're either going to give me the happy birthday because you tag out poorly, or you're going to be in a situation where I get half a mix up and you lose the character.
Or perhaps you feel that character is your problem character as far as fighting in the neutral.
Right.
Okay, I want to incapacitate him, right? Even if he doesn't die. So not only do I have that slight chance not slight, you have a fair chance that you could snipe him and kill him. But even if that doesn't work, now he's still like on notice the rest of the fight, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so if it's a problem character, that's the time I'll do it as well. Like, I'll be like, forget this Dante, bro. Like, I'm rendering this Dante 10% for the rest of this game. Like,
yeah. No, and I mean, the combo you showcased did not look super difficult, and that's relatively close to like the maximum amount of damage that you can do with a level 1. It's pretty okay.
Yeah. And with the 4K level one, right, makes it even more like ridiculous how much damage.
So let's talk about his neutral and his buttons and stuff. So from our discussion earlier and me messing around, repulsor doesn't hit full screen, right?
Repulsor?
Yeah. It doesn't hit quite full screen.
Full screen, it's tricky because it's tricky to convert. Is that what you mean?
Oh, no. I just mean like the move doesn't even hit. If we're literally full screen, the move doesn't hit.
Oh, yeah. I think you can manage to avoid it if you're literally backdashing the entire...
So with regards to that, where does Iron Man want to be on the screen? Does he want to be a little bit closer than full screen so he can threaten repulsor? Does he want to be half screen so that they can't...
like almost like starting distance, where if they do anything, they'll touch repulsor.
Right.
But anything they do is literally out of range for you. Right?
Yeah.
Obviously characters have different kind of moves and kind of setups, but yeah, I feel like Iron Man, so he there's two sweet spots, right? The other sweet spot is like full screen, like for that, right? Where you're out of range of most characters kind of shop setup things, right? Like you're slightly out of range of Captain Shield. Any projectiles they want to throw, they'll have to at least trade because you have time. So this is one of his best ranges is definitely full screen for the tag.
Okay.
And then the other, I would say the really sweet spot where it's more of on him, not his partner, is like the slight repulsor.
So basically starting distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can do.
And then in the corner, the same thing. Like you'd want to be like ideally right where the repulsor can hit them, because most characters don't have a move that has that kind of like distance, right?
So this is a silly Rainbow's question. Is there an advantage for doing a Tiger Knee repulsor over just jumping and doing it if you want to do air one?
I mean, you get, it's a speed advantage.
Okay.
You get like, it's like slightly faster.
Yeah, I would just jump and do it, honestly, in this game. Because if I try to Tiger Knee and screw up...
In this game, because of how, they've increased how difficult it is to do Tiger Knees in this game. So in general, they're harder to do. And then I also feel like they're less lucrative. So I do think there's a slight time benefit, but like I said, that doesn't fall into my practical window tool set.
Okay, yeah. So every time you do jump repulsor when we're talking about it, you're just jumping and doing it.
Once in a while, I'll do it. Like if I feel like this is the time, but for the most part, I'll jump and do it.
Yeah. The other question, while I'm distracting myself, is does he have cool combos that start like? No, I can't do it. No. Sweep into TK heavy repulsor, or sorry, launch into TK heavy repulsor.
Oh yeah, or touches the top of him. Yeah. You actually launch into cannon, up cannon too.
No. Launch into air repulsor, air heavy, Tiger Knee. That.
Oh, into flight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But to go high enough that it converts, I'm sure it's possible.
You can do stuff. Whatever. Okay. I'll stop derailing my own stuff. Yeah. Okay. So in terms of full screen options, we've gone over this kind of extensively. You mentioned it earlier that's a really bad button to just sort of randomly throw out neutral unless you're sure.
It's not useless, but it's not as practical as some people think it is, because it's literally like almost solely going to be a poke. Like it's never going to be like, oh, it set them up, now I can combo them, or no, it's almost exclusively a poke, right? It is good at annoying, like if it's down to the wire and they need to come in and solo, it is good at setting them up for like running into the ray, right? Like it's, oh, he's vulnerable, he's winding, and then they eat the repulsor, right?
Cool.
So he can play a little bit of that like fairy game where like you can't hit me, and then like right away he's hitting you, you know?
I mean, you just have unfly for that, like, right?
I didn't say it again.
You just have unfly for that, right? You can just be like, and then you just unfly, and the same idea applies.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, he definitely has like good, like decent flight mobility, like with the jabs, and some things that's interesting. I'm starting to do just to kind of throw people off is when you do like the like mid attack flights, like you'll come in and then like fly in the middle of like your assault.
Yeah, no, you can do all sorts of cool stuff with flight mode, which
just to kind of like throw off their timing or like the pace.
Anyway, so he had air repulsor, or not air repulsor, air, whatever that is, unibeam. Is air unibeam ever useful?
It is as like the ground one is as like an assist one, right? So
so if you're like,
actually if you have Gamora, I could show you because if she starts to do guns, it'll definitely start to like it stops her from the guns even releasing, so Venom can get because the guns will trade with Venom and he'll get hit, right?
Yeah.
But it works with Andante good too, right? Where if he's trying to do stuff in the air, it neutralizes it that way. So it is cool. To answer, yes, it is useful in the air as well.
Cool. So in terms of full screen options, you do a lot of unibeams, a lot of repulsors. Very occasionally you do smart bombs, and sometimes you just sort of fly around.
Yeah. The missile, I feel like this is more show than it is practical.
Well, the cool thing about missile is that it's a normal, so you can cancel it into other stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, and I almost exclusively use it as a fake out, where it's like I'm going to throw a missile with the anticipation that you think reflecting it is going to have some kind of like bearing on the fight. See, it's just an extra layer of smoke and mirrors I kind of use. Well,
you can just fly up, right, and be immune to reflect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely things you can do as far as like making it safe, but like I said, all it takes is to reflect back at you, and it's like, why did I do that?
So basically, it's a thing you do sometimes, but like once a match, maybe at most.
Yeah, and even then, like I'm anticipating it being reflected, and it's more for you something for you to look at while I'm setting something else up.
It is cool to sell in combos though.
Yeah, it is a good extender. Like if you have a weird route and you don't know how to extend the route, like let's say,
okay, hit. Well, no, you can keep people standing with it. Like it's really easy to keep people standing with it and do like, you've seen these. Like that combo is not bad.
Yeah, I can show you some of those. Yeah. Actually, some of those are dope.
Oh yeah, because he just has. You have to be really far from the missile to work. Is probably what we're both getting it wrong about it. Whereas the stand roundhouse one is really easy.
Hold on, I can't remember it.
Yeah. Cool. And those are situationally sometimes useful depending on.
Oh yeah. Like, and in terms of practicality, like I see the thing is once you go for it, if you're doing it on a block string, one reflect and it's all over. Right?
Yeah.
Just like, you know what I mean?
The thing that excited me the most was when you show that you can combo with that. Because off that would be, you've got all the time in the world to confirm that they're standing, and then you can go into something like that and get your like high, low, hard to blockable off of it because they've been standing the entire combo.
It definitely gives it has considerable startup, but it has considerable stun if it gets out.
Yeah, cool. Are there any other things that you would want to talk about in terms of full screen options? Like, I'm trying to think. What do I know about this character? Do you ever throw this button off? You probably only throw this button out from like here. It looks disjointed as hell. I don't know if it is, but
yeah, I mean,
dude,
at those ranges, I'm a lot more comfortable with repulsor.
That makes a lot of sense.
Dominating the space.
That makes a lot of sense.
If he's in the air, like if you want to keep the pressure, I like the normals.
Yeah.
But on the ground, I'd rather do something else.
Sure.
It's not the worst button.
Okay.
His Fierce is a good meaty. Like if they get grounded.
Mm-hmm. Is Fierce better than standing roundhouse as a meaty?
It'll hit different. Like in the corner, it'll actually be weird.
Oh yeah.
For the because it does the double hit, right?
Okay. Whereas that looks normal. Cool. Got it. Yeah, I'm just like going through that. That's PC timing too. Cool. Anyway, so let's talk about more mid-screen options. If there's nothing else that jumps out, you mentioned that this is one of the. It's a good button.
That's a super good button.
Yeah, it's like when
it's actually technically better. It comes out in the exact same frames as the light kick.
Yeah.
So like it almost renders the light kick like I'll say useless, but like.
And you can cancel it into anything, any special anyway.
Yep.
I wonder if
you have tag available, a good option is to just OS Unibeam after it, right? Like I don't know what's gonna happen here, so I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah, and then we're just like, I just want to see if this combo's real fast. Hang on.
So now it gives Venom a little chance to get in.
It does combo. Okay, cool. That's all I wanted to know. Yeah, no, it's super good. How negative is it if you just do one in the block?
I don't know the actual frames. I just know it's a really good button.
and see,
Yeah. Because it's
so,
go ahead.
yeah, it's a normal, right? It's a normal. So one thing I wanted to say about that is that that's one of the good things about Iron Man. Like since we're talking about repulsor name, like he has this option of like making you second guess, right? So yeah, I'm gonna try to come in, just try to block it.
Sure.
See, so like, at what point, like, let's say you're push blocking me, right? Go ahead and try to push block. Try to push block my little sequence here. See, like right there, like that's like a double or nothing unibeam. Go and push block again. See, if I'm conditioning you to like, I'm conditioning you to that there's a unibeam coming at the end of this, right? So at some point you're gonna wait for that and block it, right? So no matter when I do a block string, and that's at the moment where I start to go dumb, right? That's kind of like one of the things about unibeam is that it acts as that tool of like a conditioning tool, right?
Right. And then even if they block,
like and it's one of these. A lot of characters have this, but go and try to do something to me.
Sure.
It'll check your strings if they're not tight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's one of those moves as well.
Ooh, I did the wrong one. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
it's you're essentially saying that it's a really good rock that allows you to throw paper and scissors later, and if they anticipate that you're throwing paper and scissors, you cycle right back to rock.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, you've alluded to this in the past, but if they block one unibeam, you've got two more, right? And you can do single unibeam, you can stop, you can delay the others, you can not delay the others. And the other thing is if they're respecting you delaying unibeam, tag comes off cooldown, which is straight broken.
Yep. And what's funny is if he has a partner, like if you want to get real technical, there's a fourth hit right there. There's a fourth hit coming, right? Like as far as like if you're trying to do something, right? Like I could steal the turn still, right?
And that's probably why your team is so incredibly good, because you've got the really long range tag crash there. Teams.
And how crazy good this is. Like for how much my team gets in the corner, they do a really job of walking you there, right? Like even if we're just fighting, blocking, like this move is just taking you there, like every time,
right?
Just walking you to the space, and then the big tag crash even more so, right?
Yeah, cool. So mid-screen buttons, this is absurd. And the other thing is that just backing stuff up with this, or even just using this as sort of a whiff punish, or just a check is really good. Can you talk very briefly about when you press which button with repulsor?
Yeah, like which ones? Okay, so the one that I do most, so the big characters can fall for the big one no matter what, right? So if he was taller, the up one would hit him, right? So on big characters, you don't necessarily have to decide which one to do when. Just do the up one. It's all good. But on the medium and small characters, you definitely have to guess the right repulsor or it will whiff, right?
So you do low if they're below you, heavy if they're above you in general?
Yes. And what's crazy is like go ahead and try to go over the my repulsor here.
Go over, yeah.
So like I mean it is possible, like if you fully, well, I'll do it again, go just fully believe in the jump and get a little further. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that trades, holy shit.
Well, I'm also giving it gaps.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm trying to show is that this will be better. You do the records, the three repulsors. Go do it again.
Ooh.
See how I got around it there?
Yeah.
It is possible to get around. Like I said, he's stuck, right? One option that people don't know, if you is that if you do this, it will actually cover the back of that.
Right,
because that's such a great hurt box, right? So Gamora and other characters can kind of go. I'll try it again, but just cannon this time.
Oops, this button. Oop. Practice what you said.
Yeah, do it with the hard kick and then do the up cannon.
Up cannon is... I did up cannon. Cool. Basically, you're saying that Iron Man can't cancel Rekkas into anything other than more Rekkas or super. So if the other person is trying to move around you and be fancy, you can cancel that recovery state where he's just stuck.
If he has no tag, it's a terminal option, right? So it's risky at that point, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of people don't understand, like they think once they got over the Rekka that it's punished now, right? But he can definitely like escape that as far as like covering his ass on that, right? Actually, I'll give it super in general. I don't know if this is general stuff. I don't know how deep this is.
No, whatever. You can first of all, A, you can talk about whatever you want. B, I figure that even if this is a general concept, it's important to understand both where people are at in terms of their knowledge in the general concepts. So refreshing it is good, but also to understand that it's a practical application, right? It's one thing to learn about sine and cosine. It's another thing to use them when you're building like a set of stairs.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Anyway.
So a couple things about his cannon. Obviously he has two cannons, right?
Yeah.
The up cannon. So people don't know, and they'll fall for this. The up cannon has knockdown, right? That's something that the regular cannon doesn't have. Is that he has options to punish you afterward, right?
I'm pretty sure. So hang on. Are you sure this doesn't? I mean, you're the expert, but for some reason I thought that ground bounced. Yeah, it does.
No, it bounces so low that you can only get something off the bounce if you're tagging or if they're in power storm, which will increase the bounce.
What if they're at? So I know a lot of characters, and I'm sure you're going to tell me that you've messed with this because this is your character, but like if they're really high when you do the straight super, like if does that make the bounce high enough? Like if I'm like right here and you just do super, that's too low. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, I'll show you some things as far as like using the bounce as far as like from the forward cannon.
Yeah, cool.
So one thing is that if you haven't exploited like your ground bounce yet, some people will not know. Like they'll not realize you need to counter tag there, right? Because
right. No, because normally
like a second, like basically, if you ever see a combo with the up, like pay attention. Like this is when fighting against Iron Man. When you see the route end with an up cannon, it may be because the ground bounce isn't spent, so you better watch out because you might take two supers. Or
I think that was OTG. Anyway, I'm 100% positive that was OTG because the second one ground bounced. So the first one,
I mean, like some people say, "Oh, it's gonna end there," but like you might not realize you're gonna take a 4-level combo there, right? Like,
well, no, you still have ground bounce there. You could have done anyway.
Yeah. There's he has options. He has options.
Anyway, cool. Let's very briefly. Does he have mid-screen options that we haven't talked about that aren't repulsor or sweep or I guess so the other question that I would have is box dash jump roundhouse ever a good idea?
Yeah, roundhouse is a good button, right?
Okay.
Especially since especially dashing at them or dashing down towards them, because then you can just low-key kind of spam it into the other roundhouse, right?
Yeah.
You have to decide what button you want to hit when you land. You can just literally mash HK, right?
As you're coming down.
Yeah, see, like, if you want to do it from the flight, like,
cool.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if there's lag or if it's online, you don't got to worry about timing the jab and doing all of that.
Yeah.
It's great to go into just so, and it's cool is that it has like a decent hurt box too. So
cool.
It's a good normal.
So let's talk about his up close buttons. He's got. Does he have a jab that is faster or slower than Ultron's?
I think it's on par with it. I believe he has the 5 frame rate.
You believe he has
either the 5 or the 4.
Okay.
How fast is like the fastest one, the rocket?
I have no idea. This is honestly a thing that
4, but I believe he has the one that's 1 frame more than theirs.
Okay.
So he can't do the tag punish, but he definitely has a mashable jab. You know what I mean? As far as like,
hang on. We should have an astounding connection. Yeah, mesh jab on my tag. Interesting.
Yeah,
I meant on reaction.
React, yeah, on react, it's not going to work.
Okay.
You can see me trying to load it up too, but it's not going to happen.
Okay, cool.
But like if you're in the scramble, if your opponent's coming down, going into jabs is not the worst option with Iron Man, just to kind of see what's happening.
And then you mentioned that this is faster than this, or it's the same speed. So
yeah. It trades, but one's gonna knock you down. Right? So it's like it's clearly better.
Yeah. Cool.
His launchers, it's kind of whack. Right, as far as
it's garbage.
If you accidentally let it rip, or if you're trying to use it as a good button, he has so much vulnerable startup, and it puts him.
Well, I mean, he can do the flight character thing, and just go launch into. I am so bad at inputs. You could just do that, like, and then it confirms too. Yeah. You've actually got routes.
Yeah. One thing was good about this game is that his flight is so terrible, it makes him look vulnerable, and you can kind of go into something.
Yeah, the normals and the specials and supers. You've always got the next one. Cool.
fly it or whatever.
And
yeah,
as far as,
I mean,
go ahead.
he has a special down, like air fierce. I like that one more as an air meaty than rather than exchange in combat. Like I'd rather use the roundhouse almost every time.
Right.
But if they're waking up, it's kind of like a good like let me get you in the corner.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
I'm
Just gonna knock you down real quick.
Sure. That makes sense.
See, like I'm trying to dash down and do it like an air
Yeah.
meaty. So I do like this as a meaty better than his roundhouse.
Well, the other point, which I've discovered entirely by accident, is because it is a down forward fierce. You always are OSing throw. You cannot not OS throw. So if you're just sort of
Yes, yeah, you're right. So I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's definitely a throw as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
It is always a throw, but it has all the same negative properties that jump roundhouse has. Where if somebody jumps into it, you screw yourself. You're not like super minus or anything, but if that's the first thing that you hit somebody with when you're in the air,
It's like it's the weird, it's the HK property, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the weird like sort of half bounce, and they're safe.
yeah, cool. Okay, anything that you think is worth talking about in terms of his kit, in terms of options that we have not talked about?
His repulsor.
No, flight is fucking broken. I'm gonna go off on flight. So the ability to cancel normals into flight is absurd. Flight,
Cancel what into flight?
normals buttons.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Iron Man has the good unfly, so it's like either 1 or 0 frames depending on how you count frames, which means that you can just unfly at any point and you're safe. So there is nothing at all that you can do as the defender block this. There's nothing at all that you can do about that. Literally nothing. It is 100% safe. You have 0
Safe
options.
option. Yeah.
This gets even more broken if you do that or some variant, because if you, specifically, for some reason, launchers in this game have more block stun than other thing. So if I do launcher fly, button unfly, it's not the best option. It doesn't beat everything, and it doesn't allow my pressure to keep going. But in terms of like safety, if I can do it right.
And you're actually kind of in like super good repulsor range at that point.
Yeah. But the other thing is that because you can unfly cancel the button you're doing, you can't be whiff punished because your button doesn't have recovery because of fucking unfly. Yeah. Which is, so unfly is really good, fly is really good, and if you're ever in a situation where you can be flying at them, it's often a good idea because it gives you a lot of options. You can do multiple highs, you can do multiple lows, you can dash down at any time, you can unfly and block at any time. And again, you just, as you mentioned, once you've got them scared of repulsor, if I can do repulsor, once you've got them scared of repulsor,
that's when you start busting out all the high-low fancy, the dash stuff.
Yeah.
And he definitely has like different timing options to do, right? Where he can
you can do
off. You can do 2 lights.
If you're super tagging
into a light, you can do light.
Yeah. If you're ever super tagging in this game, which you should be, but one of the things that you can do that's really good is you can delay when the mix-up is. And you because and that's super good.
Room,
Because if they don't know when the mix-up is, they don't know when to block. They can't fuzzy you, which is super good. Cool. Okay. Hello, Mr. Jacob. Hello, Mr. Wolf. The fact that both of you guys just appeared now means that something must have happened. Erebus says, Carol does not have unfly. Wah, Carol is bad. His words. Exactly. And Jacob says, what's up, Mr. OG? You are the coolest person in the team that we are on together. Also his exact words.
What's up, Jacob? What's going on, Erebus?
Oh, Mr. Wolf has been lurking the last hour. Thank you for lurking. Cool. Okay. So the next thing I've got is pressure and mix. In terms of pressure sequences, we've been sort of talking extensively about the sort of tech. I don't know when the string is going to end. I want to briefly talk about the safety of repulsor because I know that the heavy one is minus a bajillion, and everybody can punish it with everything. How punishable is the light ender?
Hold on, let me. I actually have notes with you. Let me just scroll them down real quick. Pressure and mix. I got you. Did our homework. All right. Pressure and mix. So you said the light repulsor. They are not light and heavy like most moves are. It's just up and forward. So they are both very punishable. It's not like this is like the lighter version. It's more of just the forward version, right, as opposed to the up version.
Both moves very vulnerable. I'm not like
You're not a friend dead expert. Here, show me a
friend dead
punish then.
person, but like I know that like if you're having trouble with like just dash up to me and then tag, and the tag will usually
Yeah. Because this is this game and tag crashes 4 frames.
yeah. So like if what's going to do it to me, and I'll punish you.
Sure.
Well, see, well that's Venom, right? Venom can just tag into it, right? I'll show you the other way. Go ahead and do it full screen, and I'll show you like without Venom. Oh, I got too froggy. Go ahead and try it again. Yeah. Even then I didn't swing fast enough.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you kind of want to go over it, so you have to wait for it to end.
Sure. So basically, just move forward and
like
tag.
I said, they're both very vulnerable, and they're almost like I don't say they require a partner, but if you're not gonna have a partner, like you probably only want to do like really check yourself as how far you commit into that string.
Yeah. Cool.
The other thing is for pressure, like we kind of covered this, but just the low HK into flight, right? I would say that's the majority of like.
Yeah, and then you can go high, you can go low, you can chill, you can do button on fly. Also, again, as I mentioned, he's got the thing that every flight character has, where if you just want something that's 100% safe, if I can get the normal out, you can do that, and if they push block, they can't whiff punish you again because you just are blocking. It's interesting. It's not that great with Iron Man. It's really funny with a couple of characters.
Go ahead. I'm gonna try it on you real quick.
Sure.
So you're just going. Are you dashing down from that?
No. So
Damn,
once you dash out of the fly, you don't have enough frames to cover launch, I think.
I see.
So if you just stay in their face, you just press a button and then you unfly, and then it's an interesting option. It's not. Yeah. It's really funny with like Strange. It's really funny with like Ultron. I don't think Iron Man has the buttons to cover it.
Give me a dash from there.
Yeah.
This is like one of the corner. You got to walk them to the corner, right? You want all that damage. You got to make sure they get dragged there.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, repulsor off a block string, like I said earlier too. That's another way to
do you ever
pressure stuff?
Do you ever do? Or is there too much of a gap that you just assume they're always going to feel froggy?
I'll go into Unibeam like that. Like I said, at that point, like I'll do that if I'm going to tag.
Okay, so only tagging. Is it super plus if you can make them block it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just so vulnerable to start. I mean, it's definitely because you're definitely because if it hits, they can get in a combo there. But yeah, it's like raw Unibeam. It's like third strike, just throwing a straight fireball. It's kind of risky.
Yeah, no, I get that, but at the same time, it's another one of you're afraid of repulsor, so you're not pressing a button options, if that makes sense. The thing that I would be scared about for doing it is not them getting froggy and pressing a button, but then playing MVCI and doing up back power stone. Yeah, which I'm not smart enough to have, proving that you're the better player. Cool. Any other pressure sequences that you would want to talk about?
I mean, he has the triangle pressure, but like I said, I feel like that's limited. I mean, two reasons. One is that, I mean, it's definitely doable. I've seen people like Josh 360 comes to mind that could really make that scenario scary.
Yeah.
But it's just, for me specifically, it's not in my nature to move to be buttony that fast. Plus, I also feel like his triangle isn't as good as other people who could just do it right away. Like I would almost always go into flight.
I mean, I appreciate what you're saying, but you can do that jab option so low. Like his jab option is really difficult to confirm off of, and not as good in terms of pressure. Like if they block it, you're not plus at all. But you can do it so low. That's really good because like even like Ultron, if you're doing leg kick stuff, you have to let the jump rock a little bit, and it feels like with Iron Man, like I can do that basically as low as I want, and I'll always get the jab out.
He can actually do his down roundhouse front air jab if you're fast enough, which is ridiculous to think about if anyone could do that consistently, because that's a pretty fast high low. There he is right there. It's a pretty fast high low.
Yeah. The flip side though is that if they push block the jab, then you're possibly in Frowntown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just starting repulsor,
oh no,
right?
that's in range. Holy crap. That looked like that was in range. Anyway, so yeah, he's got the up downs. You've got the empty dash low. When you want to go low, you've got the highs when you want to go high. You can, if they're giving you space, you can do box dash stuff, box dash jump roundhouse. And then when in doubt, if you think they're going to press buttons, do repulsor. If you think they're not going to press buttons immediately, do delayed repulsor. If you think they're going to push block, you can do like that backdash repulsor, right? Fighting game stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, repulsor is good conditioning at a lot of scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Repulsor after your block strings, then you get on a block, then that's when your block strings start ending with like crazy flight stuff, right?
Cool. Yep.
Definitely has a mind game there.
Yeah, doodles. I want to briefly talk about just super briefly. You can delay repulsor a lot.
Yeah.
It feels like it is there a trick to making it so that you don't get the second repulsor? Like, can you?
What do you mean? Like you're just trying to like get out of it quick?
Yeah.
I mean, you can delay them to throw off the timing, but for the most part, like it's out there once you let it rip.
Okay.
I mean, there's time to punish, right? Like if you like the good thing about the delay of the repulsor, right, is that like you can make it to where obviously it's like 2 frame traps back to back, right? There's the first one, and there's a frame trap, and there's another frame trap, right?
I'm so bad at punishing these. Yeah.
If they start getting gutsy, you just speed up how much time they have in that, right? But the one reason to delay it, right, is because either you're trying to get more ground from as far as how much it's covering, or you're waiting for your assist to cool down.
Right.
So there's some times where, like, I'm fighting with Iron Man, I want to get Venom, tag him out, and then I'm just trying to like just take long so that Venom can get in there. You know what I mean?
No, and I think if you do delay, you can actually cover the entire tag cooldown. Is that correct?
Yeah, but if your opponent sees that and they decide to check your repulsor because you're purposely putting too much delay, now you're punishable, right? So. Yeah. That's when you speed it up, right? I mean, It's a Rekka. I don't know if you're familiar with the term, but like Fei Long in Street Fighter had a move called Rekka Ken. And it's pretty much the Marvel version of that. Like, it's literally like a Marvel version of a Rekka Ken.
It's crazy. I think that if I was putting a move like that in a fighting game, I wouldn't name it Rekka. I would name it like based on the sound of the sound that the buttons make when you do it 3 times. Anyway, the solo mix. So we've gone over pressure, we've gone over solo mix. In terms of his partner, does he have any crazy mix setups other than just tag your partner when his block's done? Or
if his part, I mean, Venom's who I use, but there's a lot of characters who have like just kind of your basic block move, right? This is the one I use with Venom, but a lot of characters have like, just that basic lock 'em down move, right?
Sure.
Iron Man can definitely get fancy with those as far as like triangles. Like, listen, I'm trying to do some pressure. So there's a low, there's a high low, right? So, and then he can vary some of that. Like, he has this is what I call the game 5, which is one of my favorite ones. Is like, I'll do this one. Oh, I did it wrong.
Never work on me, but yeah.
It's just like all the things, like because it's different timings of the high low, right? And then once I condition to that, I try to do that. But yeah, I mean he has some interesting ones. Like if you want to use his tag crash now to lock him even more. Oh, hold on.
Sure.
Then you get access to like Venom's Fierce one, right? But I'll show you how that works.
Jeez, now I have. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff on the screen there.
I'm trying to do the one where he goes over him.
I push blocked.
Like he has one where he can go behind right there.
That's interesting.
And then
go ahead.
Hold on, I'll show one more where it does like the double fake. This is one of my favorite ones. Like that one, you can try and go backwards to get on the other side of him, like a double.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, I mean, like so he pretty much has like basic bitch triangles during like so you can lock someone down. Just I'll do a basic triangle right during the lockdown. But I prefer the flight kind of. Oops.
Right. No, again, flight is theoretically a better mix-up. I think the only advantage that triangles have is you can do the empty low, and just dash to the ground, do nothing, and then remix. And I think that's super good at catching good players. But you play good players more than I do, so I will defer to your judgment on that.
Yeah. No, I do think flight, even in the mix-up with his partner, is this more. I mean, because I don't know. I feel like it's more frantic, harder to react to.
Oh, you do have
There's another layer too. There's more layers to it. Like if you want to like come in with the low after.
Yeah. Cool. But he doesn't have like stanky delayed lows or lingering overheads that you can use for tag mix. It's just mids.
Yeah, it's just like a beaut. It's more. It's less about tricking the partner and tricking the opponent, and more about just using the stuff that's going to dominate the space, right? Like this roundhouse is going to win a lot of exchanges. It's going to win a lot of exchanges. For me, Power Stone is going to win a lot of exchanges, right?
Yeah.
So it's less about the finesse of it and more about like, hey, it's not your turn to attack. Like, stop swinging in my space, you know?
Yep. Cool. So let's talk about his combo stuff real fast. I'm just going to super quickly. This on the ground gives you a sliding knockdown, which converts into OTG. This gives you a wall bounce that converts into a ground bounce for some reason, which is really annoying. Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of them do it. So you want to usually pick them up before they hit the ground if you can. Jump roundhouse is normal. This is just jump roundhouse. Don't think of it as anything other than jump roundhouse in terms of combo options. And then I completely forget what air repulsors do, so I'll let you explain that one.
Is it air repulsor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, repulsor in general is like starts to really limit his combo options.
I mean, in
right?
terms of what combo resources they use.
Yeah, that one will only use the air one, and there's different ranges, right? As far as you want to use it, right? So I like to use it at the height range as a combo ender,
sure,
because it gives that last hit that throws them on the wall and like throws it that uses the bounce.
Yeah,
there's a considerable amount of stun. There's a considerable amount of stun after that hit. So you can do a combo that's pretty long, and still knock them to the ground. Like normally a combo that's this much damage and this much hits, you don't get like that roundhouse to be able to spike them at the end.
What did you start with?
I started with the trip on that one.
You do. You get buttons into buttons until like 5.2. Unless Tony's buttons are bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a flight variant that I mean, usually when you see Iron Man flight variants, you'll see a lot of like the fierce and the fierce, right? But I know the limits of my execution, right? So I'll always have a modified combo that is like it's better than your average B&B, and it's gonna get the job done, right? So the one I do, the combo that ends here with the repulsor ray is this is what I mean when in the PC. This is what I mean when it's technical, right? Where if he's not at if the opponent themselves isn't at the right height.
Well, let me say two things. First of all, Mr. Wolf, let me know the answer to my question, and I discovered it through experimentation. Light kick repulsor in the air causes sliding, which converts into OTG sometimes, and then heavy kick repulsor in the air causes the wall bounce that converts into a ground bounce.
Yeah. Well, that repulsor, the ground repulsor will lead him to an OTG, but the air one will almost always give him enough time to flip out of it. Let me see what he does here.
Well, no, it's because
yeah, like the sliding. Yeah, just like a weird knockdown.
No, it's super good. Iron Man actually has a really good combo kit compared to some characters. Like it's a lot more robust than those.
Yeah, so I mean, none of it's like, I mean, that's what I mean. Like he has options for a lot of different routes, but none of them are going to be like just a basic route. They're all going to require a little finesse. So
I want to talk about the execution thing. I actually find Iron Man's flight routes to be much harder than any other character because he's got the extra button on the up forward fierce, and I also think that his fierce is a little bit stickier than other characters in terms of cancel timing. So I find his flight combos to be really hard.
I know exactly what you mean. Like it's almost like the projectiles coming out slightly later than the hit.
Yeah, the timing is.
It changes everything a little bit.
The timing is really
exactly what you mean. Like I'll show you an example. If you don't do it right, you just want to like mash combos out. See how he flew over my head.
Well, let me to satisfy my curiosity. I want to do. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's just wall bounce, and then it doesn't do anything at all afterwards. For some reason, I thought something else, but thank you. I'm glad I. Go ahead.
With the air repulsor, there's like almost like two different like. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do just to get a marginal hit here and there.
Yeah.
But there's kind of general route you want to go is like to do the roundhouse spike right afterward. That way you can continue the combo however you're going to continue it, whether you want to do a super or not. Another way, which is getting kind of like fancier, the good stuff,
is when you knock them up and you try to get it to where instead of hitting with the roundhouse, you hit them with a low fierce. This is definitely possible to like not spend your bounce here and keep that bad boy going. You know what I mean?
Off the top of your head, do you know what damage value ground heavy repulsor stops working as a combo?
No.
Okay.
Wait, ground?
Yeah, Rainbow's Crescents. Yeah.
Okay, ground heavy repulsor, like this one?
Yeah.
I know you can go pretty far because, like I said, I don't know the number, but like I end my entire big combo sequence
with
repulsor into trap, right?
Cool.
So it will definitely give you all the way through the repulsor. But once they get out, they'll probably flip out really quick. That's maybe after like 28 hits. But I know it's by damage, right? I kind of do things with my hits, but I know that's not technical.
Yeah. I have 0 execution right now, so there's that. I was gonna do some dumb combo stuff, but I will let people do that on their own when things are working. Cool. So we've gone over a little bit of basic combo stuff, or at least we've talked a little bit while people have done combos on the screen, which hopefully you guys can notate. In terms of converting, if the guy's on the ground, is there a specific route that preserves bounces better? Like you just did the non-wall bounce jumpy dumpy thing. What is your best starter if you catch the other guy on the ground with a combo?
So his best starter?
Yeah, what's the best sequence to start with? Yeah.
I mean, if you can get him with this one, I feel like that's one of the better ones. One is because like it gives you so much time to like think about what's gonna happen, right? Like like you don't okay, you already know you started with the triple sequence.
Yep.
There's a shorter route here. See, I haven't spent my power, right? So if you this is a power specific one.
Yeah.
But you can only do so much damage before the game's going to allow at some point. Like I'm gonna end it. Watch how I end this with Fierce Cannon, right? Okay. So it's Fierce Cannon as the ender, right? So once you get so much damage or whatever, the stun, it won't let you do that anymore, right? Like it's just gonna be like, hey, that's way too many hits.
What are you doing into the super?
I did Fierce in the cannon, but see, like, let's see if this one works.
Oh yeah,
that one, I really hit the limit.
No. If that shouldn't be a practical limit because I imagine that the first hit of his super has the same startup as Fierce, so you just do raw super there.
Or if you have Power Stone and you haven't spent it yet, right? That's like the free go-to.
Sure.
But the thing with Iron Man is that all of his, like, depending on like let's say I open you with this one, right? Mm-hmm. As opposed to open you with this one. Like both of you, you're gonna get plenty, or Surge, right? You're gonna get or Trip. You're gonna get plenty of openings with all of these, but because of the nature of what they spend initially, they're gonna have different routes. Like that's what I said. Like he's not technical. Like everything's hard to do with him. It's just that you're gonna have to learn more than the average like routes than you would need with other characters, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Or else you're gonna open them with this and like have nothing to do. You're like, what do I do now?
Yeah. No, I mean the fact that he has a sliding knockdown means that you can do a lot of relatively long, relatively easy combos. And then I mean, we've both been doing this. I just want to shout out that this is way harder than it looks.
Exactly. the trip,
Which I can't do it at all. I literally
if you actually let the knockdown spin and do both hits because of that roundhouse hits twice, it puts them considerably higher as far as like, the timing to like land it.
Yeah, no, and I think you can also just like you can jump late or something if you wanted to get it. I am not an Iron Man player, but no, that's way harder than it looks because you can't get that. You can't get that, otherwise it blows the combo.
Yeah, the Fierce, it has to be roundhouse.
Yeah, so you have to do the exact same thing that Carol does, except different. Let's see if I have. Nope.
So like stunning. Go
ahead.
Excuse me. This I open them with Power Stone, right?
Yeah.
So wall bounce is spent, right?
Yeah.
Wall bounce is spent. So if I'm gonna do a combo, I'm gonna do a slightly different ender where I'm gonna roundhouse him after, but not necessarily off the wall bounce. See how he was like really at the tippity top of the combo.
Yeah.
Right? Had I not spent the wall bounce, if he was that high, he's gonna bounce over my head at the end of the combo. Right?
Again, I think it's really cool that you. Oops. Yep. I think it's really cool that you can have the correct stone. I think
No,
it's,
like Iron Man, like Iron Man's that dude, right? Where he has to adjust the endings depending on the beginnings, right?
yeah. I think that
Like
probably
he
works.
has to, right? And like I was saying earlier, it's so critical to get to the corner,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that you have to know these routes. You can't just be like, oh well, you know, I opened up with this and I'm not in the corner, so let's just cannon. You know what I mean? Like you can't. You gotta definitely
Yeah.
just do everything you can to like
Cool.
to walk up.
So you mentioned when the other person is jumping. If I'm like up here and you want to convert into a combo, you just do a repulsor, right?
Yeah, I mean, Iron Man is like king of the skies, right?
Okay.
Like no character should really command like the sky as good as he does.
Okay.
One is because this jab is fast. Like this jab is this is no slouch jab. That's a fast jab,
Yeah.
air jab. And then two, like you just go into repulsor and
And it's a free conversion. You don't need Power Stone. It's super easy. You should never
Yep.
drop it. Cool.
Yep, it's easy to convert, and at the high enough range, just triple high. You don't, because there's sometimes some ranges if you're near the corner, sort of near the corner, you have to like go high, low, high. That way they don't bounce over your head and stuff.
Right.
But if they're far away, yeah, it's just high, and then just roundhouse.
Cool. And then show me just a combo that you would recommend to somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of execution that they can do after landing a Power Stone.
Okay. Damn, hold on, you should. Okay, so if you hit him with a Power Stone and you're not in the corner,
Yeah.
you're almost sacrificing ending it with the super at that point.
Okay.
Right? But I would just do like a fierce loop that ends with a roundhouse.
Okay.
Right, just hit him with the 5K. Hit him with a quick 5K. If you, because Power Stone is good, but it gives away his resource. Like you lost the wall and the ground bounce, right?
Yeah.
So as far as using this to get him to the corner, you lost that option.
Yeah.
Because if you hit him with that at that point, they're just gonna go to the corner without you. They're gonna, because you spent the bounce already.
Yeah.
So I almost wouldn't even recommend doing a super at that point unless I knew it was gonna kill the dude. If you're near the corner, you definitely have more options, right? You have more options. I would
Cool.
just do the easy sequence, Spears.
All right.
I think you get a fierce in there too after that. But yeah, like the variant I use, the variant I use because I think it's kind of hard. This is me. Some people execution's nothing, right? But for me, like doing this is like too much dashes per hits. It's like one hit, one dash, one hit, one dash.
Yeah.
And if you see the variant I do, it's 2 hits per dash. So I
Right.
pretty much have to do half the dashes I would normally need to do.
Yeah.
And if you notice, all the dashes are in the exact same direction. So
you're-
like my
you're only
brain
going
isn't
forward.
having to go forward dash, up dash. Like
Yeah. No, I find
so, I
that
definitely
legit
it might
find
not
that
be the
way harder.
most optimal route, but it's optimal enough. You know what I mean? As far as like the trade off for its utility.
Yeah.
My opinion, though. My opinion.
I am not as smart as you. I find that harder. Like
No,
legitimately.
I mean, there's some people who are like, dog, I have no problem doing like this one framer, this and that. Like, okay, that's all you. That is all you. Like, you know what I mean?
I just. Yeah, the delay on his fierce is so crazy. I swear I can normally do flight combos. I mean, I say that having done literally 0 combos this entire session. Can I even? I can't do anything, can I? Nope, can't do anything. Cool. Okay. So I have just briefly in terms of enders. What do you like to go for when you want the Okizumi?
Okay. Like I said, Iron Man excels as a team character.
Right.
So the optimal ending has more to do with Venom than Iron Man.
Okay.
I want him in the corner with a trap.
Sure.
Right.
You're solo. You screwed up. Your entire life is in shambles. You have only Iron Man against 2 characters. You're trying to make a comeback. You don't want to spend bar. What do you do for Okizumi?
At that point, I'm gonna do like just terminal knockdowns that give me the flight on their wake up. Right. So. I'm
Right.
gonna say I'll just hit it with a trip. Right.
Yeah. So you're basically just going to do the second ground bounce and then fly.
Yeah.
You can just do a you can just do a super short combo, Mr. OG. Oops. I say while not even able to find the buttons on my stick.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. See, at this point, I would just do something terminal that I can do I could wake up next to you like this,
Yeah.
right? Like right in the air, right? That way I can either go into the high-low mix-up.
Really quickly, Mr. Wolf wants to know if the way his jump roundhouse works makes it annoying just to do Magic Series like super basic stuff.
Yeah, the more annoying thing is with him is that as far as this regular Magic Series, is that he can do like all these extensions if he's dashing upward,
Right.
right? But what?
Oh no no no!
Well,
So
once he-
all of the flight
once he
characters.
do- wait, one,
He says it just sends so far away. That's not a also high eternal. This I swear that's not a problem because you just dash, right? Yeah.
right. But the thing with Iron Man, what I like to do, and my go-to with him, is to do the forward dash into the roundhouse. That way, I ensure that I'm coming to the ground just as fast as my opponent
Yeah,
is.
you
Right?
can. It's a. Yeah, that it's super easy. You just do dash and roundhouse.
Yeah, and you can have a lot of stun on the dude, and that's still like that doesn't. That's all like roundhouses and immediate.
Yeah.
You know, fierces and roundhouses into immediate hits, so it's like even high stun, you can get away with that sequence. But I mean, Iron Man, he builds a lot. Like I like doing combos that are just like fierces back to back, right? That's another reason why I love this combo.
No.
Right?
Mr.
Wolf,
Wolf,
so much meter.
Mr. Wolf has. You know how you said that doing 2 hits of the flight combo is easier and it's too hard for me. Mr. Wolf is not. Does not have the headspace to do 1 fierce, right? Yeah. No, you can dash. So the fact that you can dash means that you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean that would be my like a B&B go-to. Yeah, it's just almost like A, B, C, then dash fierce, right?
Yeah.
That way he's back on the ground. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I mean,
Or
the fact
again,
that he can do so many roundhouses. I mean, fierces back to back. Like that's almost like
because the fly. Okay,
gotta
cool.
learn those.
So in terms of solo filler, if you're trying to pat out a combo, you just do flight loops. Does he have like cool rejump loops? Do you have do you have things that Rainbows would approve of?
Like I said, like in this game, the you don't really get so much for optimizing. This is one of the few games where, to answer shortly, I don't really. Are you talking about like any of the stuff where I kind of jump down and go?
Yeah.
Cause he has stuff, right? Like he has a bunch of dope stuff that like I'll show you just a couple of things.
Ooh, PC.
Actually, bring in a partner if you want it. Here, bring it in, but don't let the hit rock. That way,
And then
get some birthday action. Like he definitely has stuff that will like you know help us like do some crazy corner carry even on some birthday stuff. And I know for sure he has them, right? Like if you want to, like, I'm just gonna freestyle because I've done some stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's pushing me away.
Oh, GG, man.
Right, where you do like the weird shoulder and then into the roundhouse. Like I mean, he does, right? But I'll be quite honest, and maybe it's a lazy thing.
Just do flight
It's
stuff.
like it's literally to be fancy.
Yeah, cool.
Like
so,
once you kind of learn the practical ways of getting them to the corner, all that other stuff is just for show. I feel like.
Why can I not get the dash? Yeah. So basically, your advice is just do a flight loop if you want to pad out the combo. Otherwise, just do the ender.
Yeah. I mean, you will need to learn to do some like I don't want to say fancy, but different routes. Because if you're not in the corner, like because you definitely got to learn routes that are gonna push your opponent to the corner as far as they can, right? And that's when you're gonna have the need to vary your combos and try different things as far as repulsors and whatnot.
Yeah.
But once they're in the corner, just if you can just hit them with the solid. I mean, the meter gain, the damage.
So I want to piggyback and say 2 things. First of all, I legitimately think, and I need to make a video saying this, but I think that if you're new to the game, you should not learn combos that do more than 4,500 damage, unless you really want to. If you want to, do it. But like, and you can get there so easily. 4,500 damage is like trivial.
That's just like B&B and a B&B, right?
Yeah, like you're basically there, and that was the super obvious thing. So don't sweat the optimization. I think it's cool though, and if you think it's cool, you can do it as much as you want. In terms of tab combos,
this is how I feel about it in general. Like obviously, if you want to optimize, it's going to be just that. It's going to be optimal, right?
No,
but
it's not. It's actually
the gain from optimizing is so marginal. and the risk of drop, let's say if you're going to kill someone, to kill a character, is so dire if it goes wrong, that this is one of the few games where I actually would recommend not optimizing.
It's not even that. It's meter gain is constant. So if I hit you with this, you build the same amount of bar no matter where it is in the combo. But the move does less damage the farther you get in the combo.
Yeah, the scaling.
So you build... you do 15% less damage before you build them a bar at the end of your combo, if that makes sense. So when you do a combo that does 7,000 damage, they will always gain 3 bars.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do 2 combos that do 3,500 damage, they gain like 1.1 bar, maybe. So they can't counter switch. So it's, if you're playing a team that spends meter well, then sometimes you do long combos, and there's some situations where you do it in real matches, but most of the time, don't worry about optimizing. Anyway, do you want to show me a really cool tag combo?
I said tag combo?
Yeah, just a couple of combos that show off what he does with tag, that utilize Iron Man either at the front or the back to do something neat.
I mean, I like to. Oh yeah, I'll show a couple things. So I like the fear. I like the frame trap. You do fierce frame trap, and then that's another frame trap there.
Oh, I was just talking combos. So the reason that this is in the document is because I play Dante Ultron, and my team can be like, oh, you're at 6,500 damage. Let me just do another combo. But yeah, show me some extensions with Iron Man. Some combo extensions, some cool stuff, some super stuff.
Yeah, actually, I'll do a couple of things here. Let's see.
Ooh. I'm putting you on the spot. I mean, yeah, this is a weird connection for some reason. I blame streaming.
It's really acting funny.
I still think... No, I'm not going to say it. Maybe I will. My favorite thing that has ever happened on MVCI is when you had your Mamu and weapon sex over at your house and you were all playing in the gauntlet and you were playing each other and it was lagging.
Oh my god. I know exactly when you're talking about.
97. Not bad.
Oh man, why can't I get these? I like combos with his specifically that don't spin the ground bounce because it just gives you so much opportunity to do more damage.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Oh, here's a funny one. We'll do like just try to maximize. There's one good thing about activate, not just with power per se, is that you know how these moves give you a lot of recovery.
Yeah, you can just pop.
Yeah, you can kind of negate the recovery or the activate time of your storm because it's slightly shorter. It's slightly shorter than the recovery of the repulsor blast, so you can actually like gain some frames back.
So you still
and they're pretty much bouncing around. They're pretty much bouncing around at that point, so it gives you time to do something like that. Same thing with the ground one. You can kind of spend that right when you see it hitting.
Okay, so I have 2 questions. First of all, if there's something that you would like to show that our connection has been uncooperative on, you would like it to try it, then please tell me. Ooh.
No, I didn't. That was a reset. I already spent the repulsor earlier.
So the first question is, do you have mid-screen side switches?
I was working on some. I don't have any that are reliable. There's.
No, that's fair.
Where watch out. Yeah, there's one I want to show you.
Sure.
You're talking about like the back turn stuff, right?
Oh, I mean, so you think it's super important to be in the corner?
Side switches, like get around the guy mid combo.
Yeah.
The best way to do that is like with one of these bad boys. Because once he starts getting the hits in, they get like something like this. I don't even know if you could really, unless they were like.
You could have done that there, yeah. If you had just dashed over.
Really?
Well, you're still on the ground. I think if you go in the air and you like box dash over or you try dash over, I think you can get it.
You want to show me? You want to show and do it?
I'll try.
So it's just did you just jump over?
I'm pretty sure if you just dash.
Damn, with a down fierce?
Yeah. Into something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I see it.
I'm assuming. I'm assuming I'm just bad. Yeah, I think if you do a really short dash,
you definitely get the privilege of that because they're going to bounce really high.
Right. Yeah, you definitely get it there. No. My assumption, and again, there's some amount of connection issues and some amount of just me being I think that probably works if you're fast and if you actually do a valid button after the try dash.
Or maybe if they're already jumping, you want to.
Oh yeah, sure.
No, because they're gonna bounce low. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the point is that he might, but neither of us has it right now, and somebody on Twitter will post it, probably me. So I guess the other thing, before I forget, he's a flight character, so he's got a really easy flight character with this, because you can, which I mean I don't have with Iron Man because I can't do flight combos with Iron Man, but you can tag and hold forward. So if you do something like that, where you do, which again, I can't do Iron Man flight combos; they're too hard. But you're
trying to end it with the unibeam on the way down right there, where the
no, I'm trying to end it in roundhouse, and I'm trying to do dash down jab after the roundhouse, and that should flip out the assist, and it should give you a really easy assist reset.
What happens to the main at that point?
The main ground bounce is like normal. Right.
They're gonna bounce out.
No, the main will ground bounce. I promise this works. Tag again. Oh my god, I can't fly. I missed down. Okay. Point is, his combos are too hard. Sure. So if you end in roundhouse and then you do dash down jab, if you're high enough, what'll happen is
okay.
The point will just hit the ground, but the dash down jab will connect in the assist. You do dash down jab
in there.
Really, yeah, okay. Yeah, see, that reset the assist. You just did the down fierce or whatever in the air.
What's one dope thing about Iron Man is that if you know the right B and B, it's like default.
Yeah. That also does by default. Yeah. The advantage of the thing that I'm suggesting is that you can do it like 2 hits into a combo if you want to reset the assist immediately. Here, let me be impatient. Let me be super impatient, prove that the concept works, and he has it. I don't know why I'm getting hung up on this. The other thing I'm going to ask is, what's a cool thing that you're working on? But
I actually I'll show you some here. I'll show some real quick.
So if I the point is tag. Oh, what the? Okay, I have 0 execution. Mm-hmm.
Damn, I can't hold forward now? Jeez.
So if you actually connect with that jump fierce, which I'm not doing, then you get the super easy reset, and you can do it super early in a combo. I swear. Yeah. Because the reason that assist resets work is because you always get the first hit, jump roundhouse on the assist, but on flight characters usually that combos. But you're getting the normal jump roundhouse at the point, so the point will fall faster. So that'll reset them, and they'll just languidly flip in the air.
I see what you mean now. I see. So if you're high enough in the screen and you down jab after a spike,
yeah,
the assist will get hit by it, but the main won't.
So the assist will be flippy dipping around at the top of the screen, and they'll just be leisurely falling into whatever it is you're doing next. Which I apologize for having 0 execution right now.
Oh no, it's all good. Let me show you a birthday thing I was working on. So. Go ahead and just whenever you want to tag.
Oh yeah. Let me tag and hold forward. There you go.
So my go-to route. I mean, this is with my team, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as you mentioned, the B&B that you do just naturally does it. Yeah, both of the B&Bs that you do just naturally do it as you showed.
So this is like a good double or nothing, because if you catch them taking forward, they're right there. The game's over. If you catch them taking forward. That's risky play though, because
so
if they weren't getting hit, I'd do the forward one, right?
You did
it's a bluff. If they do a level 3, I'm kind of assed out because there's no tag, there's no nothing, right? Yeah. So that's understanding. Iron Man's understanding. He's committed to this move, right? But let me show you, because the people working on the steam routes. So let me show you what that one looks like.
Steam routes.
Where you'll see what I mean.
Oh, fuck.
Like go ahead. Let's see what I mean right now. Damn it. Where watch, you'll see exactly what I mean. Go tag one more time.
I forgot that I had to tag for a while.
Somebody posted something. I was like, Dog, I don't have a route like this one, but I want one. Okay, look at, so the main got assist, right?
But it's one of these like take back. I messed it up.
Oh
See?
yeah, no, those are so hard to get
Right?
forward
So
tech.
it's like it's one of those. Oh, let me try to execute it again.
You realize that there's a non-zero chance that I was the person that posted this. I'm just saying. It probably wasn't me. It probably wasn't me with this team. No, it's
like one of these ones, right? Or you're just like, and if because if
those are
you
really hard. Those are really
you can
hard.
go get them both. Like, way. So there's like that's what I've been working on. Like, you know, I want to do one of these super into super on your assist, and if you roll back, like you have to take a mix up, right?
Those are so hard to get to cover forward tech though. Anyway, cool. Is there anything else that you're working on that you think is worth talking about?
That was kind of it. I mean, main things about the team is just kind of bullying the turn, doing the damage. But I definitely just kind of want to work on like a little like. I'm trying to get Tekua games, you know, when you just hit them with two things and win. But yeah, that's kind of the only thing I've really been trying to, because Tears posted something. I was like, you know what, I'm sure my team could do some version.
Yeah,
of that, right?
I mean, the thing that Tears posted is not good against forward tech, I think, or I'm bad. And Tears' team has such easier stuff. I think your team probably has easier stuff than that too. I'm pretty sure that I don't know. There's probably something with the way your team's pressure works, where you can like make it so that the assist is getting juggled by Venom doing something while Iron Man is mixing the point, and then you can just go back into stuff. But don't quote me on that. I have not labbed your team, at least not this team.
Hold on, I was trying to end with a storm combo. One that uses the bounce good.
I can reset. I'm a resetter.
This is one if they actually happen to land bad, where you lose all of your resources. You want to hit the tippity top of the cannon there, right? That way, this is what you were talking about. So they get the good bounce.
Yeah.
The good bounce will give you the
cash out. Yeah.
There. It'll give you the cash out ability.
Cool. So
yeah, there's a couple things.
Is there anything else that you want to say before we end?
He's mid, right? His routes are limited, but he's viable. I will say this about him, and the same thing with Venom, is that he's one of the more fun characters to use.
Yeah.
Like just straight up, because he has so much space control, so many different routes to do. Big cannons are always cool to land, right? He's just he's viable and he's fun. That's kind of like my main thing I would say about the character in this game.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Where can people find you?
Thank you for if you guys don't follow me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv OG_OG War Destroyer. Every other Monday I do the Marvel Monday interactive podcast where I literally go over things like this, where we talk about the game, deep dive characters and whatnot. So you guys know what it is. Just come through. I have a YouTube page as well.
You do? Crap.
I do. I just started that bad way up. Well, just put. I don't have the URL.
I'll put all the stuff in the description. Don't worry.
Yeah, just link it in the video.
Sure.
You guys will see it. You guys will see it in the video. But
cool. And you also host. So your group of bad boys, Untamed Gaming. Hosts...
Untamed Gaming. Yeah, I joined Untamed Gaming because they share my vision of spreading Marvel to the masses.
Cool.
You know, we do Untamed Gaming. We do events every weekend, at least one Marvel event. Every other Friday, we'll do exhibitions. Every other Saturday, we'll do a bona fide bracket.
And those are staggered, right? It's not back to back.
Yes, they're staggered. Yep. Okay. So every weekend's it's offset with Friday and Saturday, right? So one week it'll be Friday, next week it'll be Saturday, right? But
cool. Yeah,
we definitely end there with that Marvel, right? Whenever I start like listing it, it's like, damn, I realize I play a lot of Marvel.
Yeah. Cool.
And if you guys want, I do commentary for the game, right? If you guys don't know that, I do commentary for the tournament. So if you guys ever want to check that out, swing by the tournament, see what's good.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you very much. And if you folks have any questions, please be sure to harass Mr. War Destroyer. He will either answer
find me on Twitter. I love posting tech combos on Twitter. Like I said, the last thing I was working on is just because a friend of mine or a friend of ours posted a combo. So sometimes we give each other inspiration and ideas. And if you have anything, feel free to join the fray. I do want to say one more thing though before I cut out. Rainbows, I really love what you do.
Thank you.
I really like it when people take the time to give back to the community. So I definitely want to just extend my gratitude for you doing that, putting content out there, and even furthermore, I respect that you found a unique avenue
Thanks.
No one is doing anything like this, right?
Yeah.
So even more so that I'm gracious that you, one, called me up, but two, that you're even taking the time to do this, bro. I just want to give you mad props for that.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm going to wave and cut the stream.